Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Friday morning, afternoon or evening across where we may be at. And today I'm talking about the ITV programme called The Assembly and Season 1 Episode 4, which is where they had Gary Lineker as the guest talking with the autistic and people with learning disabilities and neurodivergences. And I just want to give my opinion as a autistic neurodivergent woman. And so the first bit, he actually looked really nervous, quite terrified if I'm honest. He sort of was like glancing around and sort of trying to, I guess, get his bearings, and he seemed like he was going to be a bit hesitant, but he settled down, he settled into the episode, and he started answering the questions with quite a lot of dignity and respect. He paused in between each question, he answered with such dignity, respect, he gave them time to talk to him. He seemed to be quite genuinely understanding and empathetic towards the people. And then one of the questions that he actually stumbled on was, who is the worst person you've ever worked with? And then he sort of goes like this, he's like, gosh, I've got to think. And he's like, oh yeah, Piers Morgan. I'm like, oh, that was brutal. And then they all laughed. And then the next question was, how do you feel about your exit from the BBC? Was it a case of it being overcompensated and over dramatised? He said that the comments that he made on social media were completely taken out of context, and he had an awful week that week of being sacked from the BBC. And then he carried on interacting with the people, he carried on talking to them, answering the questions, laughing along the way, giving a bit of banter, a bit of sarcasm to add to the dramatic effect. And then he got to know some of them by name and was talking to them. And then again, there was a really personal question which I thought was a bit inappropriate that he asked him, really, which was about his son having cancer, which I thought really should have been a question that should have been asked to him. But again, it was no questions barred, no questions held back, no question was off the table, so obviously he had to answer it. But his sarcasm after that was a bit blunt, it was a bit brutal, but I think obviously answering the question about his son having cancer, you're going to be a bit brutal and a bit cold to understand why he was like that. But he seemed really genuine and relaxed. He seemed like he really was having a good time with them and seemed to do the eye contact. He was nodding and saying yes and no, and like actually showing he was there listening and interacting and showing he's interested. And I think that was really good because it shows that he's able to interact with a range of people. He's obviously been in the professional football game, and he's been in the social media world as well. So again, he's interacting with different groups of people. He's able to give his opinion and facts and experiences. And I think they could all relate to him in some kind of way, being someone who has the world put against them or has had the world put against them due to circumstances. And the fact that he really seemed to be careful the way he was explaining his answers and looking at the person while answering it, and then looking away and then thinking and then coming back. And I think it really did benefit him and the neurodivergent people, autistic people with learning disabilities in that group. I thought it was a really, really good, genuine episode. He seemed really... I had my own stereotypical opinion about Gary Lineker. I don't personally like him. I think he's a bit arrogant and up himself. But in this programme, he actually really seemed to be genuine and really seemed to want to interact with the people, and really seemed to be open to answering any kind of questions at all, and had a smile on his face, was laughing, seemed to really want to interact with them. And I think that's going to pay dividends to him in the aspect of knowing how he can bond and react to people with disabilities. And I think it's really helped him to show a good side to him. And yeah, I was really actually super impressed with him. I think the way that he talked to them, and said that it was nice to meet them, and was able to joke with them and mess about with them. I think it shows that he's a total human, that he's not just a jumped up celebrity. And I think it was really nice to see him actually being open and interacting and admitting he was nervous, which is totally fair play. Being around a big group of neurodivergent people, autistic people with learning disabilities, you can get frightened, because especially if you don't know them and you have to go straight into a situation where you're like, whoa. Like, I totally get why he was a bit hesitant. But yeah, please let me know what you think. I will put the link down below to the show so you can find out more about it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.